Hi, we continue working on managing business to business relationships in the supply chain. And in this lesson, we are going to talk about customer segmentation, profitability, and service. There is an article that I enjoyed a lot that is called The Mismanagement of Customer Loyalty. I like this article because it's countercultural. We tend to believe that customer loyalty is always good and we need to keep all our customers close to us. And that thought kind of shuts the door to considering that there are some customers that we need to with whom we need to develop close relationships and some with whom we just need to configure the relationship as a transactional relationship. The mismanagement of customer loyalty is it's included in the concept of the marketing concept that we've discussed in the previous lesson because in the marketing concept we include customer satisfaction, include an integrated effort that includes product features, the price of the products and services that the customer is receiving, and including service components like place, which includes the logistics service components that the customer is experiencing with us, and profitability. Again, not revenue, but profitability. So the first question is, how do we know when a customer is profitable? Well, we should again go back to the marketing concept, identify all the service components of what the customer is receiving from us, and identify the avoidable costs associated with those services. The flip side of this discussion is whether there is a dark side for customer retention. Is there a dark side for customer loyalty? Well, this article about the mismanagement of customer loyalty, what they showed us is that while there is a tendency to believe that customers that have been with us in the long term tend to be more profitable than the others, this article makes the point that you can configure the service in a way to make all types of customers profitable. And I think that that's the most powerful takeaway from the paper. You might have customers that are not long-term customers but short-term customers, but still you can make a profit out of doing business with those customers. And those customers are also going to be satisfied with just being a short-term customer for you. So the starting point to approach this discussion in the company is to understand what is the contribution to the profitability of the firm of each customer. That's the ideal situation. Easier to say than done, but that's the ideal situation. And what we should try to aim at is mapping the customers from the one that is the most profitable to the ones with which we are losing money or investing. Just to make a blunt cut, those customers from which we're making money, then that would be customers that we want to retain. And then from the customers that we are not making as much money as we expect, then that doesn't mean that we have to get rid of those customers. There are many reasons why we want to keep those customers. So think for a minute, what reasons would those be? And just generic reasons here, but maybe it's a new customer and we are developing that customer. Maybe that customer has growth potential for what the customer is, or maybe it has growth potential because it's a new market or a new geography that the company is working on developing. Maybe the customer has unique capabilities. I recall being in a partnership session, and the supplier said, we want to be a supplier to you, the customer, because the requirements for product development from this customer are higher than those of any other customer. So the supplier kind of knew or had a benchmark that if they were able to satisfy in terms of product and product development capabilities or performance, if they could satisfy this customer, then they are going to be in good shape to work with other customers, and they would be at the forefront of their industry. So options are all of the above that have a reason. Associated with customer retention, there is a kind of an old marketing theory. It's almost over 40 years old now, and the idea is the theory of the leaky bucket. And the theory of the leaky bucket says that firms, it was a marketing professor that identified that firms put more effort in adding new customers to their customer base, to the bucket, rather than by stopping the leakage and avoiding existing customers to leave the company. Now, another study associated with that indicated that it is usual to lose about 20% of your customers every year. So the corollary of this study was that every 5 years you completely renew your customer base. Clearly, this statement did not consider the fact that there are some customers that are substantially more important to the company than all the other ones, and that company cannot afford to lose those particular customers. So imagine a company like, I don't know, Walmart, Carrefour, Kroger, the largest retailers around the world. No company can afford losing those customers. They might lose other customers, but they're not going to lose those customers. So how do we go about customer segmentation? Well, map your customers in terms of current profitability and potential for growth. For example, when you have that structure, then you can map both ends, the strategic relationships and a category that could be called challenge. And then the other two that are somewhere in the middle is manage selectively. So let's dive into how would you manage these categories differently. So the strategic relationships are the long-term profitable growth for the company. There are top executive to top executive involvement. Hopefully they evolve into a partnership, and we'll address partnerships in another lesson. But partnerships are relationships that are mutually beneficial, and that both sides of the relationship articulate and share their expectations. Very intensive in terms of management effort. The selectively managed quadrant of low potential for growth but high current profitability, those are the cash cows. Those are the companies that are actually contributing substantially to your short-term profitability. So those are the cash generators, and there should be some sort of director level involvement. On the other end of the quadrant, we have another type of selectively managing customers. Those are the customers that currently are not providing high profitability. However, they have the largest growth potential. So in that case, then we need to assess fit of those types of relationships with the corporate strategy. Will those customers support the company that we want to be in 3, 5, 10 years from now? Maybe there are opportunities to reduce cost or reduce cost to serve. We have to ensure supply and quality. And clearly, they are managed by senior leadership. The last quadrant of this 2x2 matrix is the challenge. And in the challenge quadrant, we have the situation where the current profitability is low and the potential for growth is not there. So, what do we do with them? Well, maybe we just consider them a marginal or spot market. Maybe they are snowbirds customers. They come every now and then, they buy from us, and they leave. It's not that we are losing money, it's that we have low profitability. Maybe we can streamline services, reduce the cost to serve to these customers, and move them to the selectively managed quadrant. Also, we can try to raise prices, or we can altogether drop the customers. With dropping the customers does not mean that we are not going to continue doing business with them, but it means using our distribution channel. Maybe we move these customers to be sold by a distributor of our products. So here is what I think are kind of interesting secrets to keep in mind. Not all revenue costs the same to get. Consequently, not all customers contribute to our success equally, either in profitability or strategic objectives. Maybe we have some revenue from some customers that are more costly to us than others, but they fulfill our strategic objectives. So we need to selectively manage them. Service should be adapted to each customer or customer group. We cannot be everything to everyone. We cannot be our best to everyone at every given time. So service must be adapted. Service is produced using organizational capabilities that reside in many corporate functions. So customer satisfaction relies on the shoulders of every function inside the company. We need to sell the value that we create to our customers. Our customers will not reward us just because. We need to show them how our business is contributing to their profitability and their success. That is the biggest way to achieve customer loyalty and customer retention, and it's the best way that we can pursue to close the door to competitors and make sure that we are competing on capabilities and on value from the point of view of the customer. So again, if we are thinking in terms of customer segmentation, and the customers that are leaking from our bucket are the customers that we don't necessarily want in the long term, then maybe it's fine that we have some customer churn. For those relationships that are extremely important to us, then we have to configure that relationship in a way that does not rely on the shoulders of only one individual. So remember this idea of configuring relationships either as a bow tie or as a diamond, and there is no right or wrong per se. These are two ways of configuring relationships, and we need to understand which relationship should be configured in which way. The key is knowing which one has to requires the resources to configure the relationship as the diamond, where functional expertise is in contact across companies, and which one can be managed as a transactional relationship with seller and buyer only managing that relationship. If you have any question, then ask about it or contact me. Thank you.